500 miles, and I would drive 500 more just to be the van to drive 1,000 miles and touch down at Primetown. Stuff practically writes itself. That was pure gold, in my opinion. This is the road trip with Alex Mandarino, and we are headed to Young Adult Cancer Canada's Primetown in partnership with CancerCare Manitoba and CancerCare Manitoba Foundation. Like I said, road trip. We're in the RV. We're playing a whole lot of road trip games, 99 bottles of pills in the drawer. That's a crowd favorite. And I'm with new and old friends alike. We're having an absolute blast. And as we truck closer to Primetown, there's a lot more information that's coming about. And as I speak to that, I'm starting to get a little homesick, weirdly enough. I mean, in a place with amenities such as this and people that are coming to Primetown, such as you all, I didn't think that'd be possible, but just a slight twinge of interest talking to the people I grew up with. So I might have to give my mom a shout and see if she's interested in actually registering for Primetown, because if you don't know already, parents and guardians are very welcome at Primetown. It's not often that Yak has events that includes parents or guardians, and there's a lot of sessions involved. And I mean, I think we'll really get a chance to talk about that. But like I said, let me give my mom a call, see if she's free. We're going to catch up a little and see if I can convince her to get to Primetown. Just give me a second, folks. Oh, here we go. We got Mama Mandarino on the call. Thank you so much for picking up. Ladies and gentlemen, my mom, Valerie Mandarino, is on the call right now. I'm so glad she
Guys.
picked up. Mom, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad. How about you?
I'm doing okay. What did you get up to this Sunday?
Oh, well, I'm in Ontario, so we're on lockdown. So I got into a little bit of woodworking over the last couple of years with everything, and just a little bit of that today, a little bit of crafting, keeping my mind a little bit fresh, creativity, that kind of stuff, and a little bit of exercise, and that was the day.
There you
How
go.
about you?
You know what I'm up to. I'm in the RV right now. We have young adults going through cancer right now. There are some parents, guardians, some family members, some healthcare professionals. We're having an absolute blast. And we're headed to Young Adult Cancer Canada's Primetown. So I'm super excited. We're on our way. We're getting really close and we're navigating the waters super well. Now, the one thing that came up though in conversation in this RV is we do have some really, really cool parents that are in the know who have obviously gone through cancer or are currently going through it with their young adults. But there are a lot of still spaces open, and we really want to learn a little bit more about some of the parents that have gone through the cancer experience with their young adults, like yourself. So I figured, why not give you a call? I know you're busy, you got a lot going on, but it's awesome that you were able to take some time with me, Mom. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
anytime
that.
for you, bud.
I know. And so thank you. And like I was going to say, there's a couple questions we're really itching to know. So I'm going to ask a couple quick questions if
Sure,
you have some time. The
absolutely.
first being, what was one or maybe two things that were really important for you when you were going alongside this cancer journey with me?
Having support for myself. I mean, you as the parent, you've got to be the strong one, and you don't ever want your child to see what you're feeling, your fears, your concerns. And so for me, it was one huge thing was to have someone to talk to that was going through what I was going through, because obviously you have friends and family that are around and want to help, but they don't know always what to say or how to help. So for me, it was having someone to talk to that was actually going through, either gone through or going through what I'm going through, someone that's walked in my shoes that would understand how I was feeling. So that was really important to me.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's first and foremost, actually.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
important. And I think one thing you mentioned earlier when we were talking a few months back is you had that support in certain organizations and were able to talk to some people going through it, like other parents specifically.
Oh,
That's one really cool thing that you bring up, because the first thing for parents at Primetown is a social for parents and guardians of YAs, of young adults that are affected by cancer. And so it'll be more informal, but it'll give us a chance, parents wise, to kind of navigate those waters with other parents that have gone through it or are currently going through it. I mean, you said when you were talking to a parent early on that when they were speaking about their experience, it was almost verbatim what you were
oh
going
yeah.
through. right?
Yeah, it was a 2-hour conversation, the first call we had, and she did most of the talking. And it was, as you said, verbatim. She was just telling me exactly what she went through, and I felt like she was walking my journey at that time. So that was very important and very key for me to actually have someone to talk to express my concerns, my fears, my challenges. And yeah, that was like so important. Probably one of, if not the most important thing.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
another quick question, kind of on the opposite spectrum, because it's really important to know too, is what were some of, or one, like I said, one or two, some of the more difficult aspects for you as a parent when I was going through the cancer experience?
Well, again, what I just talked about is having someone to talk to, because in the beginning I didn't. And as the caregiver slash parent, you have to be the strong one. You've got to keep the person motivated to keep going. I mean, there are so many days in that journey, whether it's a 2 month, 3 months, yours was 2.5 years almost. You've got to keep that person motivated, right? So, again, as a caregiver slash parent, you're obviously going to have your moments where you're struggling, you're scared. You don't always have the answers either. So it's hard when you don't want to, you can't express that obviously to the person that's not well, because you want to keep them, you don't want them to see what you're feeling. So I mean, that was a big, I guess that was a challenge, right? To have a way to express or offload those emotions or push them aside. So the person that you're dealing with isn't going to see that side of things, right?
Yeah,
What's the saying they say, never let them see you sweat?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's kind of the same thing. You don't want that person to actually see, because you may be afraid. You don't want them to see the fear in you, because then they get scared. Oh, is there a reason to be afraid, right?
It's hard
It could
because
just necessarily be the stress that you've been holding on to, or whatever it is.
yeah, you said it best. This idea of you have your own sort of demons, I guess you could put it, or your own thoughts
Fears.
that can be
Yeah.
difficult. Those fears, and two really big sessions for parents that are actually right up that alley that a lot of parents I think might really find helpful. One is with Dr. Norma D'Agostino on relationships for parents and guardians specifically. So navigating those waters with their young adult, whether it be face to face with them or maybe their own relationships outside of that network. And then another session on the Saturday, from my understanding, is with Dr. Lynn Robinson, which is specifically about caring for your young adult. I mean, you said it best when you say things like you have your own things to go through, the guilt, but you have to be strong for that person. And sometimes in some days, you can't be the strongest because you're going through your own stuff.
Mhm.
So being able to express that properly and being able to deal with your own emotions and your own fears makes you a better caregiver, I think, at the
Yeah,
end of the day, too.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the caregivers need help too, right? Yeah. That's a
And
big part of it.
one thing I learned from you too, I wanted to bring up is that idea of journaling and meditation. I've learned so much from you, I think, and it's based on the cancer diagnosis, but that's
Yeah.
something you've been doing for a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been doing that for a very long time. I remember when you were little. I mean, I started doing a gratitude journal probably 20, 25 years ago, on and off. And I remember when you were little, I've looked up a couple of them where I used to get you to write in your own, when you were small, I'd write it for you. And then when you got a little bit older, I'd get you to write out a couple of, we didn't do it often, but we did it once in a while, right? The little bit of a gratitude journal. And I used to talk to you about meditation and yoga. And of course, a young adult, it's not, no, it's not cool, right? But then I remember when you got sick, it was something that you started to pick up on, and I know you've carried it through your journey, and it does help, right?
Does help. And it does help with yourself because obviously you've
Yeah.
stuck through it, especially through
Yeah.
my diagnosis. But there's going to be a whole session on writing through cancer with Sharon Bray. And I personally went through a session with her when I was going through the activist training. And she's an incredible individual speaker and teacher. And she talks a lot about emotional inhibition, the idea of when you hold in emotions, you internalize them, it could affect your mental health. And there's a lot of studies behind that. So expressive writing and expressive writing therapy is super therapeutic and it helps a lot with releasing those emotions in
Yeah, for
a
sure.
positive way. So that should be really cool.
Absolutely. I
And
agree
also,
100%.
yeah, you bring up meditation and yoga and movement and creativity, and all that stuff's actually also open for everyone, including parents and guardients.
Oh,
Uh,
that's good to know.
that'll
Yeah,
be
that's good
cool.
to
I
know.
mean,
That'll be good. That'll be fun.
It will be. And I
I'm
do,
looking forward to it.
yeah, thank you too. I mean, for really introducing me to Yak, because I mean, all these years back, I kind of have to introduce you as the culprit for introducing me to Yak by
Mhm.
reaching out to Jeff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was important. Like I said, when you're in the hospital, you're going through a really tough time, and I didn't know what to do because it was all new for all of us, right? We just didn't know. We didn't know it was going to be a 2.5 year journey. We just didn't know in the beginning, right? You really have no idea. So yeah, that was the one thing I said was, please, you've got to get someone to talk to him. He's giving up already. He's really upset. I need someone that's been through it and been through the other side of it. I mean, Jeff had already been, I don't know, probably 20 years or more.
Mhm.
And so I wanted him, someone who's already gone through the journey and on the other side of it, to be there to say, hey, bud, you can get through this. So that was, yeah, I'm so glad. Yak to me is like, it's just a godsend. Yeah.
It all worked out. And now I'm speaking to you from an RV. I never thought I'd be in this
Yeah,
position, but here we are. And you're heading to Primetown too, right? You're already
I
registered.
am.
That's why we gave you a call. Good. Well, I'm
Yep.
excited to
I'm
see you
looking
there.
forward
We're
to it.
gonna go call a couple other people, just make a couple more pit stops on our
Sounds
way.
good.
I'll see you there. And thanks for taking the call, Mom.
Yeah. Drive safe. Enjoy the ride, buddy. We'll see you soon.
Later.
Take it easy.